For years, automakers and policymakers pushed a narrative that the future of the auto industry was clear, inevitable, and electric. And that narrative is now colliding with reality. The latest financial results from Volkswagen Group expose what happens when aggressive strategy outpaces consumer demand, global market shifts, and policy-driven timelines fail to align with economic truth. The impact is huge to one of the largest global automakers. Volkswagen sold just over 9 million vehicles last year, only a slight dip from the previous year, and revenue remained massive at roughly $350 billion. On the surface, that suggested stability, but underneath, the numbers told a different story. Their operating profits were cut by more than half. That's about a drop of 44%, and that kind of decline is not noise. That's a serious fact. It reflects a deep structural pressure across the business that was caused by more than EVs, but also by Chinese vehicles. The company is not expecting a quick rebound. For a global automaker of this scale, stagnation is a warning sign. Volkswagen Group includes these brands: VW, Audi, Porsche, Bentley, Lamborghini, Bugatti, Ducati, Skoda, Seat, and Cupra. At the center of the problem is Porsche AG, the brand that has long served as Volkswagen's financial engine. And I'm a Porsche owner, and I love these cars. But Porsche has historically delivered industry-leading profits, often far exceeding those of mass-market competitors. That advantage has now eroded at a pace few expected. In 2025, Porsche recorded approximately $4.2 billion in extraordinary charges. That's a drop of profits by 98%. That is huge. And while these are not traditional cash losses, they represent a significant shift in how the company values its future. It's time for some big changes for this performance car company. The primary driver behind these losses is Porsche's commitment to an all-electric future, investing years and billions of dollars into the next generation EV platform and walking away from the gas-powered sports cars they're known for. That EV plan has now been abandoned, and Porsche fans are very happy. The company is pivoting back toward internal combustion engines and plug-in hybrids. This is a smart move. This is what their customers want. The shift comes at a cost. Investments that were once expected to generate long-term returns are now being written off. And Porsche also reduced the projected value of the brand's future earnings through a goodwill impairment, signaling lower confidence in long-term profitability tied to its previous EV strategy. Porsche deliveries dropped more than 10% to roughly 279,000 vehicles. Sales fell off by 15% and revenue declined nearly 12% to about $35 billion. And the company is also losing ground in China, a market that was expected to drive growth, but is now dominated by the domestic manufacturers offering competitive technology at lower prices. This is a problem with all the brands, and the electric vehicle segment has proven particularly challenging. The Porsche Taycan, once positioned as a flagship EV, saw deliveries fall by 22%. This reflects broader hesitation among consumers, especially in the premium car segment, where expectations for performance, infrastructure, and value remain high. They didn't perform. The car looks cool, but the resale value is hideous. At the same time, tariffs are adding another layer of pressure. In the United States, increased import costs are squeezing margins and complicating price strategies. Combined with geopolitical uncertainty and trade barriers, these factors are creating an increasingly difficult environment for European automakers. The impact on Volkswagen is significant. The group relies on high-margin brands like Porsche to offset weaker performance elsewhere. And when Porsche's operating margins collapse, this is a big problem, especially in a single year. It removed one of the company's most important sources of profitability. The response has been swift and severe. Volkswagen plans to cut 50,000 jobs in Germany by 2030, expanding in earlier workforce reductions. Porsche itself is eliminating nearly 4,000 positions. These moves reflect a broader effort to reduce costs to adapt to changing market conditions. This is not an isolated issue. It highlights a larger shift across the European auto industry. The transition to electric vehicles is no longer being treated as one-directional path. Automakers are reassessing timelines, scaling back investments, and reintroducing internal combustion engine options to align with actual customer demands. What a brilliant business idea! Porsche's leadership is now focused on high-margin products, including traditional gasoline-powered vehicles, to restore profitability. This approach may stabilize the brand in the near term, but it also underscores the uncertainty surrounding the long-term strategy. The broader implications are difficult to ignore. If Porsche, with its strong brand, loyal customer base, and historically high margins, struggles to make electric vehicles profitable, the challenge becomes even greater for other manufacturers operating with tighter margins and less flexibility. Competition from China is accelerating this pressure, and domestic automakers are advancing rapidly in battery technology, software, and cost efficiency, often delivering vehicles that match or exceed European offerings at lower prices. This shift is reshaping the global competition in real time. Volkswagen's current situation is being compared to its 2015 diesel emissions crisis, which resulted in more than $30 billion in penalties and settlements. The difference now is that today's challenges are not tied to a single event. They are rooted in long-term changes to technology, regulation, and consumer behavior. Despite these challenges, there are still strengths within the organization. Porsche maintains a strong brand loyalty and pricing power, and people that want these cars will always buy them. And Volkswagen continues to pursue cost efficiencies and leverage its scale across multiple brands. They're building vehicles here in the US and all around the world. Volkswagen still makes really quality product, but those strengths do not eliminate the underlying issue. The assumptions that guided the industry over the past decade are being tested. Rapid EV adoption, stable global trade, and predictable growth are no longer guaranteed. What emerges from Volkswagen's latest results is a clear message. Strategy must align with reality. Consumer demand, infrastructure readiness, and economic conditions cannot be ignored or accelerated through policy alone. The global auto industry is entering a period of recalibration, and we've made that happen. We buy what we want, and companies that adopt quickly will make disciplined decisions that will better be positioned to navigate the transition to building what consumers want. Those car companies that rely on outdated assumptions and allowing the governments to pressure them, they risk falling behind or worse. Volkswagen's numbers are more than a financial update. They are a signal of where the industry stands and where it must be heading next. We buy what we want. We're not going to buy something that the government is telling us to buy. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and check out our car review channel, Car Smarts. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee, and if you want even more content, check out the links in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching.